Oh gosh. It's all stuck in my mouth. Hey guys, welcome to my full day of eating. So in the morning, I typically get up, weigh myself, sometimes get dressed, sometimes I don't, and immediately go make my protein waffle for breakfast. You've seen me make this before. It has changed a little bit, like what toppings and stuff I put on it, but the basics of it are I use 1 serving of the Kodiak Cakes protein packed pancake mix, and then about 2/3 a serving of my PE Science Select Snickerdoodle flavored protein. And then I usually top it with some spray butter, some PB2 or PB Fit powdered peanut butter, and my Maple Grove Farms sugar-free syrup. And that's typically what I do every single morning. My next meal was actually something that I had been craving for a while, especially at the end of my cut. And now that I am lean bulking, and I've transitioned into a lean bulk, I could fit this into my macros a lot easier. And so I finally went ahead and I've made this for lunch and dinner a couple of times. This was for lunch that day, but it was some nachos. So I started with some corn tortilla chips, and I layered on, I believe it was, a whole serving of refried charo beans, and they were just the ones that I got from out of the can at the grocery store. I also cooked up some extra lean ground beef, and I just had that in my refrigerator. And when I cooked it, I put a little bit of like taco seasoning flavors on it, with like some chili powder and stuff like that. And so I think I layered 3 ounces on top of the beans, and then I loaded on the cheese. So I actually used 2 types of cheese, and you saw me mixing them before I sprinkled it on my nachos. And those 2 types were some mozzarella cheese and some reduced fat cheddar. And so I didn't use a whole serving of both. I used, I think, 3/4 of a serving, and mixed them together before I sprinkled it on my nachos and went ahead and put them in the microwave. So once the cheese was melted and the meat was kind of heated up and stuff, I have also been craving avocado, but previously couldn't fit it into my macros much. I picked up a few avocado the other day at the grocery store, and I measured out with my scale 50 grams of avocado. So I just looked up on MyFitnessPal the USDA facts for avocado, for just raw avocado, and what the macros were. So 50 grams was actually ended up being a lot of avocado, more than I thought it would be. And so it was plenty to like completely cover my nachos, and was so good. So I just sliced it up into little pieces and kind of sprinkled it on top of my nachos. So while I'm waiting, this clip is kind of long for the next one, I wanted to talk a little bit about my lean bulk. I believe that my maintenance calories right now are about 1900 to 2000. So I'm trying to eat a few hundred calories above 2000 calories. And so I figured out what my macros would be based on that calorie count, and that's what I'm sticking to for right now. My weight has gone up a few pounds from when I finished my cut last, and I think I mentioned that in my last video, and so I'm pretty pleased with that, but I still feel pretty lean. So I'm going to be bulking and trying to put on muscle mass for the next few months at least, and hopefully I can stay relatively lean and eat plenty of food and kind of enjoy my food right now and put on as much muscle mass as possible. So I'm going to be training really hard in the gym. What you see now is I'm just drizzling on some salsa. This is some fresh salsa that I picked up from my local grocery store, HEB. Alright, so there is the final product of my nachos. The macros for them, you can see them across the top of the screen, was 52 carbs, 26 fat, and 39 protein. Okay guys, I have never done this. I am about to go in the gym and I don't have my shaker or my aminos or anything with me except pre-workout. So I'm about to take this straight to the face and I'm a little scared. I'm going to do just half a scoop because I think that's all I can really handle and all I really need. And I'm also going to eat a Rice Krispie treat, a little small one. They're actually in the back of my car, so, or I would show it to you right now. But yeah, that's my pre-workout basically. Some quick carbs and half a scoop straight to the face. So wish me luck. Oh gosh.
It's all stuck in my mouth. There's a little more. Oh wow. Now I want to eat a little bit. Alright. I think I'm ready.
Hey guys, you're about to see my shoulder and accessory glute workout that I did with my friend Breeze. I wanted to explain a few of the exercises because they're a little bit different in how we did them, and so that's why I'm doing this commentary. We started out with a regular dumbbell shoulder press, doing 3 sets in the 8 to 10 rep range. I did recently move up to using 25-pound dumbbells, and therefore a couple of my sets I only managed to get 8 reps, but that's fine. We then moved on to a dumbbell lateral raise, and I got this idea from a YouTube video that I watched of Paige Hathaway's, and where your sets are timed sets. So we did 2 90-second sets in which we used 10-pound dumbbells, and you basically do as many side lateral raises in that time period. You can rest, but it's very short, only like a 3 to 4 second rest at most before you then keep going. And so Breeze timed me, and then I timed her using her phone, using our phones. We did something very similar with the upright rows that you see here. We used a barbell instead, but they were also timed sets. And again, you can pause to rest, but I felt like I didn't need to as much with this one, but only for 3 to 4 seconds at a time. So it's very exhaustive, and I definitely feel very sore after doing some sets like this the couple times I've tried it. Our third shoulder exercise that we did were seated half Arnolds. So a full Arnold press has the rotation like you see here, but also is just like a dumbbell shoulder press in which you press the dumbbells all the way up. The half Arnold is where you're just doing the rotation part and you're not doing the full extension. This is hitting all parts of your delt muscles, your front, your side, and your rear delts. The last exercise that you see here is the cable rope face pulls. We did 3 sets of 10 to finish out our shoulder exercises. The face pulls are great for your rear delts, and so we wanted to make sure we hit those rear delts as well. Alright, so once we completed our shoulder exercises, we actually moved on and did 2 exercises for the glutes. So Brees and I had worked legs a few days before that, and we weren't scheduled to work legs and glutes again until a few days later. And since we weren't sore, we threw in a couple glute exercises at the end. So I had mentioned that I am working on really building up my glutes. That's where I would love to put on some more muscle. And so we did some cable kickbacks, and this is actually the heaviest that I had done kickbacks before, and I was able to do it. Make sure to pause if you can at the top. Brees is always good about reminding me that I'm going too fast and to try to hold my leg up. And then the last exercise we did was an abductor exercise. I showed one in my last video using an abductor machine, but this is one way that you can work the same muscles, similar movement, but with a cable machine. So we used the ankle strap, and instead of kicking backwards, right, your leg crosses in front and you bring it out to the side, and it really hits that side glute. After the gym, I came back and had myself a snack. This is the Light and Fit Greek yogurt. Note to self, don't hold your camera and try to open your yogurt one-handed. It is pretty hard to do. This is my favorite flavor, which is the toasted coconut vanilla, which I recently discovered. I've actually even put it in like a shake with some fresh pineapple and some almond milk and protein powder, and it is so good. And I also filmed a recipe where I basically made that shake but put it in popsicle holders and froze it, and it is delicious. For dinner, a few hours later, I needed a lot of carbs, and so I baked myself some sweet potatoes. So this is the easiest way and less mess, way to bake your sweet potato. Take your sweet potatoes after you wash them, take a fork, and you want to poke it into your sweet potato about 5 or 6 times. You're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees and place your sweet potatoes on a baking sheet. So it's probably best to line it with foil. I don't know what I was thinking that day and I didn't do that, but typically I do. And then you can just fold up the foil and toss it out when you're finished. You're gonna put them in the oven and set the timer for 45 minutes to an hour. For my 2 potatoes, the 45-minute time period was perfect. So then you can do whatever, other stuff you need to do. If you need to cook up a protein source or whatever, go clean, I don't know, while you wait for your potatoes to cook. When your timer goes off, you're just going to take them out and let them cool off. Like I said, if you used foil, you can just wad up the foil and toss it away, and your pan should still be clean. And then I usually just slice mine up. You can mash them if you want, but I usually just slice mine up and put them in a container in the fridge, and they will last for a long time. What you're looking at is my dinner. There's my sweet potatoes that I just made, some green beans, and then that is some extra lean ground beef that I cooked up, and I put some of that, it's wing sauce on it. and it had 1 gram of carb. I only put 1 serving, it's 5 calories, and added a lot of flavor to my protein. And I covered the potatoes and the green beans with some of that, I can't believe it's not butter spray. And then this is my secret weapon. This is garlic parmesan popcorn seasoning. It's low in sodium, it's very low calorie, and has 0 carbs and packs a lot of flavor. So you can find it next to the popcorn in the popcorn aisle. The last thing you'll see is the macros for my dinner. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
East side to the west side, pushing fat rides, it's no surprise. She got tricks in the stash, stacking up the cash, fast when it comes to the gas. By no means average, it's on when she's got to have it. Baby, you're a perfect 10, I wanna get in, can I get down, so work it, work it, work it.